If you have visited Shanghai, Beijing, and Zhangjiajie, I would highly recommend Yunnan as your next China destination. Yunnan is a province in southwestern China. It is the most diverse Chinese province in terms of landscapes, ethnic minority culture, and ancient towns. I spent more than 2 weeks in Yunnan, going from Kunming, Dali, Lijiang, Tiger Leaping Gorge, and Shangri-La. I would recommend following this route as you gradually increase in elevation to reduce the chance of altitude sickness. If you enjoy hiking, don't miss out on the memorable 15 kilometers hike along Tiger Leaping Gorge. The location is about 90 kilometers from Lijiang and 110 kilometers from Shangri-La. I did the overnight hike between the days I spent in Lijiang, but you could directly go to Shangri-La instead of returning to Lijiang. I will show some important maps before showing the videos. I visited the scenic area for an hour, as shown by the blue numbers. Then start my hike from Nasi Guest House, shown by the red numbers. The 28 bands section is the steepest elevation gain area, but don't worry, it isn't difficult. I ended my hike for the day at Tea Horse Guest House and enjoyed the sunset there. You could also opt to stay at Halfway Guest House, but I chose Tea Horse as I wanted to evenly spread out the hiking duration for both days. The hike ends at Tina Guest House, but an alternative is Teacher Zhang's Guest House, where both places offer bus to Lijiang and Shangri-La. This is an alternative map that shows a longer hiking route. Many years ago, the start of the hike was at Qiaotou. However, this portion until Nasi Guest House is a steep vehicle road, so it is best to skip this section. If you wish, there are further trails beyond Tina's and Teacher Chang's Guest House, but the most scenic section is between Tea Horse and Tina's Guest House. I would recommend installing the All Trails app. There is mobile signal throughout the trail, so you can use the app for free to know your location at all times. Search for Tiger Leaping Gorge Trail. The section in red rectangle is the portion from Qiaotou to Nasi Guest House, which I took a car ride. It is a steep elevation gain portion along not so scenic vehicle road. The next elevation gain section is the 28 bands. Beyond that, it is mostly downhill or relatively flat sections. From Lijiang, I hired a private driver through the local hotel for Renminbi 500. The driver picked me up early in the morning around 7:30 am. I reached the scenic area around 9 am or after 1.5 hours for the 90 kilometers journey. Before you reach the actual tourist spot, you will first reach the ticketing office to purchase the necessary tickets. I also bought the elevator tickets for Renminbi 70, but they are not strictly necessary if you are willing to walk 1000 steps of stairs down and up. The driver I hired waited for me while I explored the tourist area. After some stairs, you will see the first set of 4 sets of very long escalators that will bring you down to the photo spots located at lower section beside the gorge. Tiger Leaping Gorge is called虎跳峡in Chinese. It is one of the deepest river canyons in the world, plunging about 3,800 meters between the snow-capped Jade Dragon and Haba Mountains. According to local folklore, the gorge gets its name from a hunted tiger that escaped by leaping across the roaring river at its narrowest point, using a large rock in the middle as a stepping stone. This tourist area is where all the tour groups will stop while on their way from Lijiang to Shangri-La. As my main reason to be here is to hike the trail, I visited during the dry season, as it can get risky to hike during wet season. Due to that, the water flow in the gorge looks less dramatic than after rain, where you will see impressive volume of muddy water in the roaring river. Overall, I spent about 1 hour here before going up to continue the journey. The starting point of my Tiger Leaping Gorge hike is Nasi Guest House instead of Qiaotou. I think this is now the more common starting point. The distance from the tourist area to Nasi Guest House is about 3 kilometers and takes about 20 minutes by car. You do not need to approach Nasi Guest House unless you like to eat something here before starting the trail, as there are no proper restaurants until reaching Tea Horse. Just drop off at the stone sign and follow the vehicle road up. Soon you will see a small trail beside the vehicle road. There are signboards that indicate you are on the right path. I came across some folks that offer horse rides up the 28 bands if you do not want to do this section on foot. I have mentioned that the best views are between Tea Horse Guest House and Tina's Guest House. For the first hour or so, you are hiking along the section that gives a view of the Blue Bridge where we cross coming in from the tourist spot. You will find these blue color emergency posts quite frequently along the hiking trail. In case of emergency, you can use them. About 1 hour from Nasi Guest House, you will reach this small rest stop called Jiayuzhan or Add Oil Station. I think they only have drinks and instant noodles. It's too early to really need a break, but the view is good, so I got a drink and enjoyed the view a bit before continuing. Just past the rest stop is the beginning of the 28 bands. This is the steepest section during the whole hike, with elevation gain of 470 meters from 2,200 meters to about 2,670 meters. It's not difficult, just rest as needed. However, I do not recommend doing the trail if it is raining, as the stones and pebbles can get slippery. The mountain peak that provides the breathtaking view along this hiking trail is the famous Jade Dragon Snow Mountain that you might have visited while in Lijiang. Unfortunately, there are clouds obstructing it during the morning. At the end of the 28 bands and likely the highest point of the whole trail, there is a small stall. The stall owner will charge you 10 renminbi to take photo at the adjacent photo spot with the Chinese flags. Since it's not too much, I paid for it and it is quite a good photo spot. However, do be careful as the railings do not look too sturdy. This is the last view you will get of the Blue Bridge. I got here around 12:15 noon and I started from Nasi Guest House around 10:25 am. So it took close to 1 hour 45 minutes to reach the peak. Tea Horse Guest House is still about 2 hours away. From here onwards, you will be going downhill or minor up and down until you reach Tea Horse. Quite often, you will find yourself walking along the precarious cliff while being on this trail, so you need to be careful and watch your steps. Throughout the 3.5 hours hike today, I only encountered maybe 20 other hikers on this section of the trail. A third of them are foreigners, as I did spoke with some of them. At some point, you will encounter this tiger statue. It is another photo spot, but there wasn't anyone here to collect any fee. Keep walking, and once you reach this viewpoint, you can see a cluster of buildings in the distance. That is where Tea Horse Guest House is located. There are also many other guest houses in the same area. Tea Horse is sort of famous because it has been around for a long time, and you can find it on Google Maps. Far the views on day 1 are pretty good. And finally, I reached Tea Horse Guest House just past 2 p.m. They were almost finishing a new building and restaurant during my visit in late November, so I think by now they should be completed. The original guest house is much more charming though. I had my late lunch at their restaurant, which had an amazing view. They also have a cozy small cafe and a large outdoor area to watch the sunset. The sunset with the golden glow over Jade Dragon Snow Mountain was absolutely breathtaking, the top highlight during the 2-day hike. As it was late November, it gets really cold near sunset, so make sure you bring enough layers or heat packs. I booked the cheapest room for 185 RMB and it only has the bare basics. It does have hot shower, heating and electric blanket. They have better rooms if you prefer and maybe the new building as well. For the second day, I started at 8 AM. Just ask the guest house where the starting trail is. You will notice multiple small signboards or arrows that point you in the right direction. Again, you will find yourself walking along the precarious cliff even more than yesterday while being on this trail. So you need to be careful and watch your steps. And I do not recommend doing it during wet season. Tea House guest house that I stayed in is actually accessible by car. And that is also true for Halfway Guest House that I will reach today. As the best views are between Tea Horse and Tina, you could get the driver to bring you to Tea Horse directly and aim to complete the hike within the same day without staying overnight. However, this keeps a lot of the hike and personally I wouldn't do that. Additionally, you will miss the sunset, which is the absolute highlight. You will find more stalls in today's section, but most are not open yet. And one heartbreaking thing I noticed is the amount of trash at certain spots. It is not this dirty throughout the trail, but it is really sad seeing people don't dispose their trash properly. I would like to remind all visitors to keep the trash until you find a proper trash bin in town. Having said that, I do encourage anyone that enjoys hiking to experience this trail. The trail takes you high above the gorge, seeing sheer cliffs drop thousands of feet into river rapids, while snow-capped peaks tower above. And they are cozy family-run guest houses where you can enjoy meals and comfortable stays without camping in the wild. Surprisingly, it isn't more popular with locals. So it is an ideal side trip while being in Yunnan away from the crowds found at more popular spots. It took me about 2 hours and 10 minutes to reach Halfway Guest House. This is another popular place to stay, but there are also many other guest houses in the same area. Together with Tea Horse Guest House, both these places are usually used as map location reference as they have been around for a long time. Halfway Guest House have a larger restaurant and better looking cafe as well, and I took half an hour break here. The sun is behind the mountain around 10:30 AM now, so it is not suitable for photography in the morning. Again, ask the guest house where the trail resumes. You will notice signboards or arrows that point you in the right direction. For today, I encountered more people on the trail, but I'm not sure if that's because most people just start their hike at the same time or they just took car to Tea Horse or Halfway Guest House. You will pass by this photo spot where people climb up above the trail to sit at the protruding rock. Actually, it looks a bit dangerous. Another 200 meters away is a free observation deck built onto the cliff with a small cafe. Again, the sun here is not at the right spot to take photos of the mountain. About 1 hour after starting from Halfway Guest House, you will reach this area with a waterfall. Note that the path here is narrow and made up of uneven rocks and pebbles, with the cliff just immediately beside. Take extra care when crossing over the waterfall, especially the sections that are wet. You definitely will need to step on wet stones and rocks to cross. Cherish life, no swimming. I think they meant not to play in the waterfall, and it's a really important reminder. This is one of the top photo spots, so you will see people spending time here. Most of today's trail is relatively flat except for the final section that is descending steeply down from 2,400 meters to 2,000 meters. For just a few hundred meters after the waterfall, the descending section will start. You can see a cluster of buildings in the distance, and that is where Teacher Zhang's guest house is located. I bought the tickets for the bus leaving Tina's guest house, but Teacher Zhang is an alternative. You will reach this trail branch that splits between going to Tina's and Teacher Zhang's. So just follow towards the one where your bus ticket is for. You can purchase the tickets the day before at T-Horse Guest House. The buses leaves at Lijiang at 2:30 p.m., 3:30 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. And there are buses going to Shangri-La as well. Looking at the number of people on the trail, I think Teacher Zhang's buses are more popular. I reached Tina's guest house just after 1 p.m. and had my lunch there. It took 2 hours and 20 minutes from Halfway Guest House, or about 5 hours from T-Horse Guest House with a half-hour break at Halfway Guest House. The buses depart at the building below Tina's just across the road. I get the feeling that the buses and Tina's are same owner, but I'm not sure. My tickets are for 3:30 p.m. but since 2:30 p.m. bus isn't full, they let me board it. The journey back to Lijiang Old Town took about 2 hours and I arrived by 4:30 p.m. Lastly, I list out the cost of the activities and transportation for reference. Do pause if you like to have a look. Hope this information helps for your trip to Yunnan. A quick reminder to help like and subscribe to my channel.